All right, welcome to Steve Brine TV, Election Steve Brine TV. We're here at the Hilt, just on the edge of Hiltingbury Wreck, and Caroline Spelman from the Shadow Cabinet's come down. Delighted to see you, Caroline. Thank you for coming to Chandler's Ford. This is a great example of a community coming together, and under the leadership of the Hiltingbury Community Association and Councillor Mike Hughes, they raised an absolute fortune to make this a reality. It's a real good example, isn't it, of the big society coming together, and you must see examples of this all over the country.
Well, this looks to me like an exceptionally good example of what David Cameron has been talking about, which is that the state can't do it all, but actually that together with the community we can improve and change the places people live. And so often people complain to me there's nothing for youngsters to do, there's nowhere to go, they're hanging about on the street, antisocial behaviour seems to ensue. And actually the answer to this, of course, is to provide some facilities that the community want. And if the community own those facilities, then all the evidence is that they tend to take care of them.
Absolutely, and the community really do own this facility because it was there, it came from them, and it's now for them. And there's in the loft, as they call it up there, they have a youth club there a couple of times a week, and I've been in there and played on the Wii with them. And,
Mike Hughes is a Conservative councillor, but
I heard all
he wasn't.
Yes, he's been mentioned in dispatch.
Oh, right.
That's my laugh when you see it.
He's a big character.
Yes, very nice.
So this was phase 2, which we had to apply for lottery
On stage.
and we were successful. In fact, the lottery said that we had presented probably the best case and best plans for a community centre that they'd seen. So they were very delighted with us. In fact, one of the people who would have been here today is actually away at the lottery and the owner for a presentation.
All right.
So,
Lovely.
Here as well was obviously within your Department of Communities and Local Government. One of the big issues for this constituency is the whole policy that we've got of localism, which is to push power down, to take away these central government housing targets which are causing so much discomfort to people in Winchester and Chandler's Ford. You can just set out for us as succinctly as you can exactly what you will do in government.
Well, the regional spatial strategy would go immediately if we form a government. I'm pleased to say that if I was Secretary of State, I could just repeal the legislation that brought it in by order.
Brilliant.
So we don't have to hang about.
Excellent.
And that is why I've written to council leaders up and down the country and said that whilst I'm not complacent about the outcome of the election, I do want them to think in terms of a new local plan for their community. So not something top down, but something that is built from the bottom up, so that they work together with the people who actually live here to work out how many homes they need and where these should go. So no more regional housing targets, no more regional plan. It's coming right back to you on the ground, right here in Winchester and Chandler's Ford. People will be able to decide how their community should be shaped.
And what people were saying to me as well is that the whole issue of back garden development, John Prescott's genius idea that back gardens are brownfield sites, we're going to reverse that as well, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. That's something I feel passionately about. Gardens should be gardens, so they'll be taken out of the classification of brownfield. And very important, because what we want developers to do is focus on genuine brownfield sites, things like old factory workings, old retail facilities, sometimes housing that actually is no longer fit for purpose and needs to be regenerated. That's a brownfield site proper.
Agreed.
A garden is a garden.
Yeah, it's about putting communities back in control. And if you go to stevebrine.com/Winchester Challenge, you'll see all of Caroline's policies and the open source planning document in full, and you can see exactly what we will do if we win the election next week.